In this video, we're comparing the Peak Design packing cubes with the Eagle Creek Packet Specter Tech packing cubes. Both of these are compressible. This is a Pack Hacker Pro community pick, so we're excited to go in and talk about all the nuances going on with each of these packing cubes. So first of all, I just want to talk about the size of these. The Peak Design packing cubes are kind of packed in units, and they're meant to stack up on top of one another. This works well in a lot of different bags, but it works especially well inside of the Peak Design travel backpack. Now the Eagle Creek cubes, you can see that this is there's a little bit less length here on this one, on the small version. So we got small, small, medium, medium. And the Peak Design cube here is basically a square, whereas it's a rectangle in Eagle Creek. So it's a little bit more narrow, but it's a little bit longer. So it depends on the type of clothing that you want to pack in here. You know, if you're a bigger person and you have like bigger shirts, bigger pants, that might fit a little bit better with a little extra length here. Whereas the smaller Eagle Creek cube here, if you just want to load it up with socks and underwear, because you have a lot of that to bring along with you, a lot of smaller items, you might want that here. And at the end of the day, these are both, very flexible material. You're going to be able to jam it into a bag regardless. So if there were hard shells, I'd be a little more concerned about the shape and size. But overall, it's what fits best in your pack and what clothing you have that's going to fit best inside of these things. Now, one thing with the Eagle Creeks here is they do come in different colors. And that's nice, so you can create a mental model and tell things apart quite easily. Whereas the Peak Design, as of now, there's just one colorway on this. And I just have this little colored paracord that I've added here onto the pocket, and you can see we have a different paracord there. So I just did that so I could tell them apart in my bag, but overall they're monochromatic. Both sets have handles that you can pick up and grab, both very similar on that function. And then there are a couple things going on here, a couple differences. So opening, this Eagle Creek opens up kind of fully clamshell style. We got the colored zipper pulls here, and the kind of beefier zippers, they're a little more minimal here. We have this heat shrink paracord. I personally like the feel of the Peak Design better. I like the look of the Peak Design better personally. I think some people on the Pack Hacker team would fight me over that though, so this is just kind of my personal preference. There are some people on our team that like the Eagle Creeks better overall. So this opens up, and then you're kind of left with this area where you can stuff clothing into. I just have some stuff put in here for now. And we can close this up, and I will just show you too how it compresses. So here we go, the compression zipper. You can really kind of pack this thing down and compress it the way that you see fit. It can get caught on the little extra fabric there, but so can the Peak Design. It's just kind of the nature of the design of these things. And there you go, a little package. It gets kind of rounded on the edges. So that's just something to note there. Now, if I grab the Peak Design, let's focus on this for a second. One thing I love about the Access is these two Hypalon pull tabs. So you put your hands on that and you can just rip it open and get access on the inside. This is what I was saying about the longer clothing. So this is like a scarf. If you have longer clothing, it's going to fit better in here. Now, if I decompress or uncompress this rather, and I'm just going to go all the way around the horn here. I'm going to close this up at the top so we can get a closer look at the fabric. This is actually mesh. So one, I like it because it's breathable, and two, you can kind of see what's going on the inside, and it's very stretchy as well. So I like that a little bit better than the Eagle Creek personally, but if you don't need the mesh, you might not want to pay extra for it. So there's a little handle here that I can grab onto as well. I do like that I can kind of grab onto this handle and zip it. You can see there I got kind of caught on the corner on that mesh. So that tends to happen with both of these packing cubes. Whereas in the Eagle Creek, if we unzip this compression strap, we also have that little thumb pull tab here that you can hold on to while you're compressing this thing. So those are nice touches that both of these offer. Again, the Access here with Eagle Creek, you're gonna have to kind of unzip like that. Peak Design, you can just kind of rip it open. Now, one other thing that I appreciate on the Peak Design that these specific version of the Specter Tech doesn't have is you have this kind of dirty clothes side here too. So there is a loose piece of fabric in here, and as your clothing gets dirty, you can pull it out of the clean side and put it into the dirty side here. There's a lot of zipping going on in this video, but that's really nice because you can keep clean and dirty separate, nice and easy. You can easily sort through your clothing. So that's a great touch. Now, I'll just open these big ones up so you can see. Eagle Creek, pop that open. Fully clamshell style, you can see everything going on the inside. I'm actually gonna take everything out of this one and set it off to the side here because I wanna show you something interesting that Peak Design offers in some of their, Eagle Creek offers in some of their packing cubes. Get that out of the way. So there's this kind of like Swiss cheese board in the back, and there are holes in it to keep it light, but it's sort of a mini frame sheet to keep the packing cube a little more structured, and that can be nice while you're packing the bag. So there's a little more structure there to this, and definitely appreciate that if you just want a little bit more going on. This has the similar compression zipper that we saw, and it does round off when it's full of clothing as well. And if we open Peak Design, I'll actually pull everything out of here as well and just set it off to the side really quick. Lost that one inside of there. So this one's definitely more cubey. You can kind of see the difference in the size when you get on the inside. No structure on this larger one, so it can get a little bit floppy. I think that's totally fine if these are going to be fully packed anyways and you're just kind of tossing your clothing around. But that's just something to note. You can kind of see how that mesh bunches up here on the side, and we have the ripstop fabric that bunches up on the side here as well when this is compressed. So if I kind of uncompress this, bring it around the horn, see, you got caught on the zipper there. This happens all the time with both of these. It happens, it's kind of like the way it's designed. Zipper tab pull there. Nice little zipper pull here too, this little ring. I like that, it's nice and lightweight. You got kind of a beefy zipper here on the Eagle Creek. So a little bit different of a feel there. Mesh again for breathability. And you can see that there's just a little bit more depth in the Peak Design versions here compared to the Eagle Creeks. Now this is good and bad. It's good if you want to fully pack this up and just kind of have it as your cube. When I was traveling with these Eagle Creek ones, I took these with me on my 2-year trip around the world, and I actually stacked them on top of one another inside of my GoRuck GR2. So if you have a bag that's wide enough, you can actually stack these on top of one another, which is cool. Now I do want to talk a little bit more. The last thing I want to talk about here is the fabric. So this is kind of this self-healing material. And we actually stuck a pin through it in our review and then kind of rubbed it closed, and the hole did disappear. So at first we thought it was kind of gimmicky and BS. And like if you tear it, it's not going to self-repair itself. But if you use like a pin and get a hole in it or something like that, it kind of repairs itself, which is nice. So although this doesn't look like ripstop, it's some pretty great material overall. Now the Eagle Creek uses this ultralight ripstop material. And you can really see the ripstop going on. We got this kind of diagonal ripstop and the square ripstop stacked on top of one another. So that's a really nice feature. In terms of heaviness, the structured cube here is going to be heavier than the Peak Design. But if we empty these ones out and we test real quick, all the weights are over on the website too, and they'll have these on the product pages. So make sure to click that link in the description below and check out our full reviews of both of these packing cubes. We'll have more information over there and have everything linked up. But now if I'm kind of comparing these two, the Peak Design is way heavier because there's just like a little more zipper here, more stitching for that mesh likely, and this one's heavier. This one's also smaller. So it's kind of a trade-off there. If you get the one without the Swiss cheese insert, it'd likely be lighter than the medium Peak Design packing cube as well. So there you have it. That was our comparison of the Peak Design packing cubes compared with the Eagle Creek Packet Specter Tech packing cubes. Head over to packhacker.com to check out more information on both of these. We'll leave a link down in the description below. Again, this has been a Packhacker Pro community pick. So if you want to learn more about Packhacker Pro, we'll leave a link down below in the description as well. It's basically an exclusive community where we talk all things gear and travel. We'll see you in the next video.